All right,
Huh?
okay.
Welcome. Please enter your passcode followed by the pound sign. After the tone, please state your name followed by the pound sign or the hash key.
Dan Aylward.
At any time, press 4 for conference instructions. The caller has joined the conference. 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 Followed by the pound sign. That is not a valid passcode. Please re-enter your passcode now, followed by the pound. After the tone, please state your name, followed by the pound sign or the hash key.
Craig F.
At any time, press 4 for conference instructions. The caller
Craig F.
has joined the conference.
What the heck is that?
The caller has joined the conference. The caller,
Steve here.
has joined the conference.
What?
All right.
The caller has joined the conference. Please enter your passcode followed by the pound sign.
1 second.
After the tone, please state your name followed by the pound sign or the hash key.
Debbie.
At any time, press 4 for conference instructions. The caller
Debbie.
has joined the conference.
I hit the wrong button.
All right. I have 9 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay, roll call, clerk.
Supervisor Adams.
Here.
Trustees Anderson. Rickstraw.
Here.
Wojcicki. Veer.
Here.
All present.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the revised April 13th minutes.
Supervisor Adams,
Yes.
The caller
Mchenry.
has joined the conference.
I'm sorry. Go.
Question on, did you want to answer?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, what's my thought? Anyway, I went through the paper this morning, and somebody got to explain to me why there's a public notice about a hearing for the budget when we haven't voted on it. So I don't know if you want to talk about that now or later again.
That's for
The
Road and Bridge.
That's not for this. That's for the road and bridge. We assumed you were done with it, and now it's going to be up for.
There was never a vote.
No. You're not taking. You're not taking a
We
vote.
didn't have a meeting.
Well, I don't remember anybody saying they actually approved it.
You didn't say you approved it, I guess, and we thought you were done with it.
He asked if he could go ahead and give
Oh,
the
no,
hearing.
we're not done. I don't think we were done with it.
Okay. Well,
My feeling was we were not
I'll
done
have
with
to
it.
talk to him,
we're going to have to talk to Jim about that, though.
because they have it on the.
Okay, I just wanted to bring it up when I read in the paper there, I was taken by surprise. Let's talk to Tim about it right now. Okay.
Okay.
The budget appropriation ordinance, procedure for the highway department and for the board, the statute requires.
The caller has joined the conference.
These people are not identifying themselves, okay? Whoa. These people just coming in are not identifying themselves as is the proper format, okay?
We don't, you know what?
I did identify myself.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the last person that joined.
Okay, please identify yourself if you're calling.
Tell him. He's not here.
Jerry Rogers.
Okay.
Just mention it.
when we get the phone off, I want to be able to associate with different people.
Tell them, no, this is a free service, we're looking into other services.
John Marino is a person.
Hold on a second. This is a free service right, well, it isn't gonna be free, I guess, because we're using too many minutes. But we're
Well,
look,
it's going to be paid.
we're gonna check, Mr. Mayor, please listen. I am gonna change the service, we're looking into it, so that this won't, so this can't happen, okay?
Who is looking into it?
Myself and my staff.
Who's the staff that you charge to look into it?
Terry and Debbie.
Terry and Debbie are looking into it. All right, can we go
Looking into what, looking into what exactly?
to see if we could change this phone service so that we can mute the public if we need to?
This was a temporary service.
This was only going to be a temporary service originally. It's- Anyways, let's get back to the agenda. Jim Militello was speaking.
Okay. So 605 Island Kansas 5/6-501 is the appropriate section relative to the highway department budget appropriation ordinance and the process by which it gets presented to the board. The statute requires that the highway commissioner submit it to the clerk. The clerk then publishes it. A public hearing is then presented. At that hearing, then it becomes the responsibility of the township board to look at that public hearing and should adopt the tentative budget appropriation ordinance or any part of the board, or any part of the board deems necessary. So that hearing date, whatever that date is that's in the paper, would be the date in which this board can either approve it or any part of the board deems necessary. That doesn't really answer the question. I'm not sure what the question is.
Okay,
The question is, does the board approve the budget of the road and bridge? And the road and bridge? Yes. Yes. I just told you the process. Yeah, and I'm telling you that we did not vote on it. Yeah, but I'm telling you that you have to have a hearing, you have to hear the clerk first, and then once it's had a hearing, then at that point in time, you then make that determination, then you vote on it. That's the board, it's the board that sets the hearing date, not the, no, it's not clerk. It's the clerk. Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah, really. Yeah, this is that section I just read you. Who do you represent? I represent you, the board, and I represent you, the board, and I'm telling you, this is what the statute reads, Steve. Would you like me to read it again? Steve, the statute says... I think you better send me the statute. And its amendment to you right now. I'll send it to you right now, as it is, with highlighted sections, Steve. I'll send it to you right now. Okay.
Tell Steve he's not.
Hey, Steve? Hey, Steve? What's published in the paper says that the board can change their budget after that tentative, after that hearing. So we do have the opportunity to change it before it's approved. That's what we're going to vote on. But that is clearly in the notes. And the board also has that the clerk must send everything that's going on to the board too. And he didn't do that.
The caller
Jim Condon, is that
has
you?
joined the conference.
Jim Condon? Is that Jim Condon?
Jim Condon.
Jim Condon, there's questions from the trustees.
Tell him Bobby's not recognized.
Yes, trustee Anderson. In the paper, the date for the hearing, for your record, is May 28th. Say goodbye. Goodbye.
I received a text saying that there was some question about my budget. Do you guys want to talk about that now or some other time?
Who did you receive the text from?
the budget, said you weren't done with the budget, whereas after the last meeting, I believe we were done with it.
Well, you're mistaken.
All right. I was mistaken what was I mistaken about?
That we approved that budget.
We went through and I made all the changes.
I don't care what we went through.
Okay. Mr. Condon has the floor.
I guess our Mr. Adams, Supervisor Adams.
Yes, Mr. Condon,
I don't think that it's necessary that I continue to be abused by Mr. Burr. You have my budget. I've made the changes that the trustees asked for, except for apparently Mr. Burr. I've submitted it, and I think I'm done with my budget process. I'm not sure what else to do. I don't plan on it. I've cut my budget. They said make payroll 1% larger than what it would be. Then what the staff was, I reduced it by 0.4%. I think I've complied with everything that they've asked for. We all agreed on all the other items. There's nothing else to talk about. So I'm not going to play games with Mr. Burr about how I should eliminate 5 people because he just thinks so. Makes no sense. They said 1%. I reduced it by 0.4%. So I went beyond what they've asked for. We have my budget. I don't think there's any reason to waste any more taxpayer dollars playing games with Mr. Burr. So based on that, I've submitted the budget. I've submitted the ordinance as required, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Mr. Veer, you're recognized. Point of order, Mr. Veer.
What Mr. Condon already highlights, the board's displeasure with his submitted budget. If the board did not approve it, the board said come back with 5 people out.
No, you didn't. Not according to our minutes.
Well, that's why the minutes are wrong.
All right, let's move on. These are on the minutes for the 13th.
Well,
Okay.
Mr. Adams.
Let's move.
You show me a roll call vote. You show me a roll call vote
Stop letting him
Okay, Mr. Veer,
do that.
let's move on to, I guess we don't have an agreement there, so.
We're on the revised minutes.
So, Mr. Adams, Supervisor Adams, you have my budget. It's submitted as is. I will not be reducing it by Mr. Burr's request of 5 employees. That's ridiculous. We've added mileage to our road and reduced our staff already, and that's as far as we're going to go. If Mr. Burr wants to take it further than that, I guess that would be up to Mr. Burr. I would hope that the other trustees would realize the effort that I've made to work with them on that, and they would approve the budget. If people choose not to approve that budget, I guess we'll just go to the next step, which I really don't know what it is. But we'll go down that road. But I think we've played enough of these silly games by Mr. Burr, just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. I've done what I've been asked, and I do not plan on wasting any more of the taxpayers' dollars with these silly games that Mr. Burr wants to play. So with that, I'll be signing off unless somebody has a quick question for me.
Yeah, who do you represent the road district?
The caller
Jim.
has left the conference.
Mr. Militello, maybe you can explain that. Who is the attorney for the road district now?
I have no idea.
Are you
It's out of order.
No, you had earlier, I told you that I'm the township attorney.
Okay, so you no longer represent the road district, is that correct?
Well, that was my understanding from the last meeting when Mr. Condon indicated to me that there was a conflict of interest and he let me go at that point. Unless I'm mistaken, did somebody hear something different?
That's my understanding. How could you not know?
I didn't know. He said it right there at that meeting, and I'm just repeating what he said. I don't know what the question is.
Well, the question is, are you actually working on these other items? Like this culvert stuff and getting easements for the road district?
I think those were the remaining items that he indicated at that time. He said, I'm getting rid of you regarding this budgeting process and just finish up the culvert, whatever those items were that he had. I thought that's what he said. I mean, if I'm wrong,
So you are still representing the road district? Well, that was said at the last meeting, Steve, though, that he was representing. I don't care about that.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
okay, yeah, Steve, I don't know who is representing the road district relative to your issues or the township's issues to his budget. I do not know.
But you are representing the road district as to what? What in particular? Because I want to know exactly where you fit into this thing. And if you're our attorney or you're some other entity, I want to know. So please tell me what thing you are the attorney for the road district for.
So, let me repeat. I am the attorney for the township board. I represent the township. I was appointed by it. As far as the road district, I would let go from the road district relative to the budget and that process and those things that he indicated at that meeting. He further indicated to me, Jim, I need you to finish up those whatever the two items regarding culverts or easements regarding Shalimar, Fair Oaks, and whatever that other subdivision was, which I don't really recall off the top of my head, which has nothing to do with the budget appropriation order. So I am not, as far as the budget appropriation order, I don't know who Mr. Condon has represented him or relative to the district.
Okay, can we,
So you still represent the road district. It's simple as that. That's all I got to know.
I guess I'm not understanding.
So you still are representing the road district. Vis-a-vis these culverts, this easement. Is that right?
I finished it up as of whatever it was between the time. I'm not doing anything right now for the road district. I finished up whatever the easement was relative to Fair Oaks. I don't know if there's anything more going on relative to Indian Ridge or Shalimar. I don't know, Steve. All I can tell you is the highway commissioner indicated to me, Jim, you are terminated relative to the road district and relative to the township. I'm not doing anything. So I don't know who is representing the township. Excuse me, I don't know who's representing the road district. That would be a question to the road district to ask, not me, the attorney representing you. If I find out who is representing the road district, I will be more than happy to let everybody know.
It is certainly the primary question that we have to ask who you represent, okay?
Understood, and I told you, and I repeat it.
Yeah.
I represent the township.
We still don't understand about your ongoing representation about Shalimar and this other stuff that you talk about.
See, I just talk about it because that's what Jim Condon talked about it when he let me. I don't know. I haven't had any conversations with him about it, so I don't know.
All right,
What you're
so
talking
you
about.
haven't returned any of the documents. All right, is that what we're talking about?
No, I completed whatever the project was relative to Fair Oaks. That was already done. So I haven't done anything more. So I don't know what else to say to you other than I don't know what to say.
It's just a simple question. Are you doing ongoing work for the road district? Yes or no?
No.
The caller has joined the conference.
Who just joined the conference? They have to identify me.
could you identify yourself who joined the conference, please? Who just joined the conference? Identification, please. Who just joined the conference? Okay, I can't make him tell me, Steve.
Oh.
I have no way to control that. I asked. Who's
Yeah,
who's
that's exactly right. You are not in control, okay?
And you are not leading the meeting.
Let's move on. Let's go back to the approval of the minutes of the
I haven't seen it yet, so we're gonna table it until another time.
No.
No, you have received it.
I haven't read it yet. We'll table it for another time.
No.
No,
Motion to table the minutes.
no.
What do you mean, no? Motion to table the minutes. We're not gonna get locked into another fake minutes.
You've had them for 48 hours.
48 hours.
Mr. Anderson, do you have any problems with the minutes?
Just,
I have the minutes, there's some corrections I wanna make in it, some of the corrections that are there. Why don't you just take a minute and go through it? But I don't think so. I don't think we should put it on.
just take a vote.
Well, you can put the corrections just now, just take a look at it real quick.
Yes. Mr. Anderson, April 13th minutes, we already made corrections.
It's so what?
The corrections that you asked for, Steve.
Who said the corrections are correct yet?
Well, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking at it, okay? So, we'll table that.
Okay, well, you're refusing to look at it. Mr. Anderson,
Look, I'm not refusing to look at it.
You just did, you said.
you just said you're not going to look at
I
it.
have to compare it, I have to compare it to my notes.
Well, you
At the
had
end of it.
all weekend to do that, Mr. Veer.
We have a first and a second.
I have a first and a,
Yeah, and you had 3 hours to come to the last meeting because you advocated, okay?
I had another commitment that night. I couldn't make it. All right, now, let's take a, Bob?
If you see, just glance at your minutes, if you look in the red, you'll see exactly what the correction was in there. We don't have to table it. Just bring it up.
Bob, would you make a motion? I make a motion to approve the April 13th, 2020 budget minutes as amended. Could I have a second, please?
I will second that with you, Steve.
Thank you.
The caller has joined the conference.
Let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson,
I have a correction,
on that one?
I have a correction to what's in there.
Okay?
When you go down to what's revised for attorney Militello, it says the board requested for setting audit and professional services. My memory was that highway commissioner stated he would consider this. I think that should be in the minutes that he considered that.
Okay, I believe that might have been said, okay.
But do you remember him saying that?
I think he said he would take it under advisement.
Yeah, it says it right below in red.
I don't,
Highway Commissioner Condon stated that he would consider this.
here. It says it, Bob, on that. It says right underneath the red, Highway Commissioner Condon stated,
I think that he would consider this, I think if you consider this, that would have to be coming out of his budget, okay? I don't think if he doesn't say that.
It doesn't matter.
well, he just said he'll consider it. Isn't that the question?
It's in the minutes on the revised, right below the red.
It's right below the red on the revised there.
Right below the red where?
Highway Commissioner Condon stated.
It's not on mine.
What do you mean it?
That's why I want this to be tabled.
No, we have a first and a second. If you look below Attorney Militello, it does, Bob, right underneath. Right underneath the red. You don't see that?
It shows it on here. I'm gonna look on the website.
You read it.
Page 2. I'm sorry, Bob, you broke up. I didn't hear you again, please.
Bob, look under the next one under Attorney Militello.
Right there. It's even online.
It's also on,
Attorney Militello, and then it's red, and then it says Highway Commissioner.
Okay, no problem. So we've got a first and a second. Let's take a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson. Bob, let's take a roll call vote. I'm calling for. We got a first and a second to approve these. Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw.
No.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Wojcicki.
Yes.
Mr. Veer.
No.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, next we have the April 2020 meeting minutes.
April what?
April 20th. Need a motion before discussion. I make a motion to approve the April 20th, 2020 minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Bob. Okay,
What page is that on?
Page 4.
Page 2. Page 4. Page, yes, page 2 for the April 20th.
Page 4 online.
It is at page 2 of the thing.
page 4 online.
No, page 2 of the minutes for April 20th. Page 4 of the PDF, that's where it's at.
Correct, page 4.
Page 4 of the PDF. Okay, no discussion. Let's take a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Wojcicki? Mr. Veer?
No.
Okay, motion passes. Hey, whoever that is, stop that. Public, mute your phones. All right, we're going on to continue to review and discuss the tentative township budget. I believe we're waiting for Mr. Militello on some items.
This morning, I worked on it, finished it up over the weekend. I apologize for the late delivery, but I sent it out at about 8 o'clock this morning to the board. If you haven't had a chance to check your email, that's what the email is relative to the budget and appropriation relative to emergency assistance and operation. If you've gotten it, great. If you haven't gotten it, I'm more than happy to review it.
I didn't get it.
Anderson's got it, had a chance to read it.
Can you give us a synopsis, Jim, I guess?
I didn't get it.
The long and short of it, relative to the, Chevy, I'll forward it to you. I don't know that you're on the email list, sorry, Debbie. Let me do that right now, Debbie. You have it. Debbie, I just sent it.
Thank you.
There were 3 issues outstanding. One was requested by trustee Burr, one was requested by trustee Anderson, one was requested by trustee Rakestraw regarding some various opinions. This opinion that I sent this morning addressed trustee Burr's and trustee Anderson's request, trustee Rakestraw's opinion request. I have not finished on it, and I don't know that it would hold up the budgeting process or not. The basis on the opinion is broken down into 2 elements, the budgeting and appropriation with regard to emergency assistance and budgeting and appropriation regarding the Parks and consideration. You'll see in the opinion, make a determination of discretionary relative to emergency assistance, and if the board wants to eliminate funding for the emergency assistance, that's a prerogative of the board. If the board wants to eliminate funding for the purposes of the parks, that's mandatory, and that causes problems, and we should not do that.
Okay.
Over the weekend, Greg, I put together some notes I'd like to read of my position of why I don't think we should fund general assistance in the parks. Could I have the privilege to go through that now?
Sure, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, I just want to say this before, so I was going to repeat, but I still think it's important to say I understand the process how we've gotten here, and I know there's a lot of confusion with it. But anyway, as I said before, state law, Mchenry Township, like all townships, they have three mandated duties: it's general assistance, property assessment, and road maintenance in unincorporated areas only. And I went through a lot of my old papers and just went through this. But anyway, generally speaking, about the past year, 50% of the town budget has been spent on the discretionary services of parks, and we've got four now, the facilities, emergency assistance, and cemetery. And I think, I don't have any numbers, but I believe most of us would realize that most of the townships do not have parks or provide emergency assistance. So anyway,
Bob, that's,
a long time going through some old minutes I had, and so really, how did this evolve? And this has been brought up by me, and it's been discussed before, of the conflict between the annual meeting, the annual meeting, and the electors at the special meetings. But anyway, I went back to when the park started, on behalf of the supervisor. And basically, in my opinion, my words are quietly on a view of the general public, and over decades, bit by bit, expansion of services by the township government, Mchenry Township government, involved at the cost of millions of taxpayers hard-earned money on these non-dedicated services. But all these expanded services are really not essential. People like to think that become essential, but they really are not mandated by state law. The expansion came basically in this process. And the minutes of the town meeting on April 10, 1984 showed that Supervisor Adams gave a detailed report of the township's Battle Ride program. And I just threw that in there because that's when the bus program got started, before the township even had a bus program. And then Supervisor Adams presented a resolution to purchase 50 acres, which became our major park. And the vote was taken by a show of hands. There was 68, and there were 0 names. My words are inconceivable. And then a resolution, and then we gave the township board authority to buy 2 more acres. So and we stated a need for parking and space for the township grounds. The resolution vote came out the same way. 60 nays, or 68, 0 nay. Inconceivable. So then published in the Northwest Herald, August 1, 1989, there was a public notice. The Board of Trustees and Supervisor Adams increased the tax levy at that time 59.9%, which was $4,000. Again, inconceivable, but that's how we started funding to where we are now. And then in 1996, Mchenry Township started the process of acquiring 3 private parks for the Stately Highland subdivision. Then the Stately Highland Committee all of a sudden became property. I was at the meeting when that was voted on. And now we have a private cemetery that became township property. When it comes to general assistance, as I stated before, townships were not involved with this non-mandated function until 1991, and that's when state law permitted. It still is an option.
no, wait a minute.
The elimination of non-mandated functions in the township budget will provide a degree of property tax relief, and that's my position on this. So anyway, thank you for giving me time to read it.
Okay, Bob, I would just like to correct a couple little things there. general assistance is required. Okay,
I'm sorry, emergency system, I'm sorry.
okay. And the other thing I would like,
I'm referring to emergency system, sorry.
okay, and the other thing I'd like to point out is, I believe almost every township in this county provides emergency assistance. All but 3.
And when I say, I'm saying that, I'm going statewide, we're talking about, when I refer to the township government, I'm referring to statewide, which is 1,431.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Bob.
I'm not going by just within the county.
Thank you for your comments, Bob.
And also, and again, the word is discretionary.
Understood. I think Mr. Militello said that you have the right to scratch that.
Right, and I saw that, and I would not be voting for it. And then when it comes to the park situation, I'd like to have Mr. Militello explain really what the consequences are and what our options are. Do we have an option to both not fund it at all, I don't know what the consequences are, or do we have to have a way to reduce that funding at this time? Still provide a basic salary.
To eliminate funding at all to the parks becomes very problematic. There's 2 sections specifically, one within the township code and one within the Community Act. The requirement comes out of the township code regarding requirement of major improvements, if you almost fullness. So to eliminate it altogether causes a problem if the board maintains and has those parks. In order to avoid that, as I put it out in the memo, the board should look at and discuss what methods and the process which we have and move forward with the sale or disposition of those properties if the township no longer wishes to have them and those expenses related there too. As far as how much money to be budgeted, again, that's a policy decision for you, the board, knowing, however, that under the Community Act, there's a duty to maintain as well as use ordinary care, giving safety and maintenance of the property as well. So and it's going to be a fact question, and it's going to be an issue for the board as to what does it take in order to maintain what you have.
I understand that very clearly, thank you.
And Bob, in that budget, I want to explain something. I did reduce myself, before I presented this to you, a 3.5% decrease from last year in terms of salaries. We already, took care of 4 positions that I thought had to go because of our budget.
And I definitely recognize that, and when I've gone over these records, I've seen back when Don and Jake was, that much more money was being spent on the park, so I do recognize that.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, we reduced a lot of things. We already went through the park budget line by line. And most of these things are necessary in order to keep the facilities and the parks, what's the word? Maintained and safe.
Jim explained very well, I understand exactly what he said.
Okay.
Well,
Anything else, Julie?
You may, Mr. Beer.
There's no requirement then for improvement in the park.
I guess I would agree.
That's not correct. No, that's not correct.
Okay, Jim, please explain.
That's not correct. 120-5A of the Township Code provides that the township shall maintain and improve. So maintenance and improvement is required.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Militello.
Who's recognized?
Hold on. Mr. Beer, I recognize you.
But once it's a part system created by a prior board, subsequent boards are obligated to approve it. Are you saying that?
Correct, but it wasn't approved by a board. It was,
Telling you what Steve, what I'm telling you is what the statute says. I'm also telling you that if a prior board has now taken, or the electors have taken the property, and you now as a board decide that we do not want to maintain or keep those costs of those properties, then explore disposing of the property.
but that has to,
I'm talking about improving.
The word improved is used in the statute relative to parts owned by the township, yes.
Mr. Beer, if this would help you, I don't plan on any improvements in the next year or anytime soon.
Well, then according to Mr. Relatello, you're in violation.
Well, no, only if there needs to be improvements.
We don't need any.
We don't need any current.
Aren't what we talking
Was that in your memo, Mr. Relatello? No.
Well,
That's a determination as far as what needs to be maintained and improved. But what I'm telling you is if you own property, if the township owns property and that is the determination, and now you have this property, there is a requirement that it be maintained and improved. Now, to what extent of maintenance and improvement, that's the discretion of the board.
the only improvement, whoa, Mr. Beer, okay.
As a former, as a special attorney for the Chicago Park District, on high injury cases, the board can just direct the supervisor to walk around the park and make note of any dangerous conditions. That is the maintenance.
No, it has to be,
There's nothing over here about it.
it has to be mowed, maintained, etc.
I just let the weeds grow.
I think I'm putting this to Mr. Relatello.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about making sure there aren't dangerous conditions in the park. Isn't that what this law actually goes to?
There's two laws that I cited, Steve. The first one,
Yeah, I know.
the one that you're talking, the second one that you talked to that the law goes to is regarding the Tort Immunity Act and the requirement to maintain. That's the liability piece. The first one is regarding the maintenance and improvement. Now, could the board direct the supervisor to make on-site visual inspections? The board could also direct a trustee to do on-site inspections. However, you guys aren't out there running the operations of the township. I would probably encourage the township to maintain some employment structure to provide that maintenance and improvement and continue to I guess review the property to see if there's any problems. If you don't want the property, get rid of it.
It seems to me that we have quite an understanding then of what we have mandatorily provided and what we are providing.
Can I interrupt with that? I don't think we do. There's 58 acres to maintain. And we've already cut staff in the parks.
All right, now, let's get back to square one on this, okay? You yourself have reduced, what, by half the persons in the park? Persons in charge of maintaining the park, is that right?
A full-time person, I believe.
Okay, so what changed between last year and this year?
Our finances.
Our budget, we didn't have money, so I'm not saying, I'm saying that less people are taking on more. Hold it, Steve, I got the floor, Steve, I have the floor. You asked me a question. So more people, or less people are taking on more responsibility is what I'm telling you. And I need that to maintain what's there.
We're always doing more for less is our motto, isn't it?
We can't, Steve, you can only cut so much, and then it can't get done. So that's where we're at. I believe I need what's,
Maybe the supervisor should actually do some work.
Steve, I do work, okay?
Keep this cordial and professional.
Now, at the last budget hearing from last year, you said you put about, what, 40 hours a year into the park?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, Steve, exactly. It varies, you know?
I'm here running the day-to-day operation.
I'm running the day-to-day operations of that. I'm writing the day-to-day operations of everything.
It seems to me that's a very small percentage of your workload for the year.
Well, you can think whatever you want.
You can think what you want, Mr. Beer, but I'm telling you, this is what I need to maintain the parks. I cannot maintain them myself.
Why not?
How would I do that, Mr. Beer?
You're the supervisor, okay?
Yeah, so?
You made a determination you could do without one person this year, this year's budget.
It wasn't a determination, it was a financial decision.
It was a financial decision. It wasn't that I didn't need that person. It's that I put more responsibilities on the people that are left.
Or I can't pay.
Okay, so why can't you undertake more responsibility
You
for
are.
the park?
I already am.
All right, explain to me exactly what you do.
No.
No, Steve, I run the day-to-day operations.
Really? Okay, then what was the day-to-day operations yesterday for the park?
This is ridiculous.
They were closed yesterday. I don't think there was any operations yesterday.
All right, so all the parks are closed what?
Well, they're not closed.
Governor's order or on
Hold it. Well, they are closed right now under the governor's order, you're correct, but we still have to maintain them.
Cutting grass,
We're cutting grass, we're
fertilizing, mulching,
mulching, fertilizing, doing the things that need to be done in the park. The staff is working, repairs to grounds.
Okay, so why can't you do some of that work?
Steve, that's not my responsibility as a supervisor. I'm not a ground maintenance person, okay?
I think we should have the trustees do it.
they can come lead.
It's a mute point. Okay,
Let's move on.
let's move on.
No, we aren't gonna move on. You said you're in charge of the day-to-day operations, okay?
Correct.
So how much are you actively supervising the park system that you created?
I haven't created the park
I
system.
say you created because
I have not,
you were on the board when all these things were done, weren't you?
I was not.
You've been on that board for how many years, Mr. Adams?
I can't remember exactly, but I was not on the board. Bob stated when those parks were taken in, and it was before my time.
Okay, so the question is, how many years were you on this township board?
About 8 to 10, I guess.
And I think that Albie Adams and Donna Schaefer never actually did any physical work with the park, is that right?
That is correct. They don't do any physical work of the parks. I have all kinds of things to maintain, Steve. Bookkeeping and making sure the bills get paid, etc. I don't have time to go out and do park maintenance.
Why not Debbie did all that?
Debbie does not do everything, no.
If I could recognize, because I want to two kind of records I'm telling you what you got to the board.
Go ahead, Bob, you're recognized. Bob, you're recognized. Bob, you're breaking up.
Ask if he's on speaker.
Are you on speakerphone, Bob? Or? Bob, I can't hear you at all. You're breaking up, Bob. Could you call back in, maybe?
They were a trustee from 98 to 2009.
Bob, are you there? I think Bob's calling back in. She was breaking up.
Is anybody on the line?
Is anybody still on the line?
Yeah.
Okay.
The caller, Linda Rosenberg, has joined the conference.
How many times this year have you gone out and inspected the parks?
Well, 4 or 5 times I've been out there looking at various things, yes. I go out periodically, depending upon what's going on. Sometimes it's daily.
And it's my understanding all the township parks have been closed.
I believe they are closed at this point, yes, right now.
Well, are they or not?
Yes, they are.
How is that police?
I mean, we keep an eye on it, and we've told everybody it's closed. I mean, if somebody comes here after hours, we wouldn't know necessarily. But to my knowledge, there's no activity here of any substance in the parks. Oh, also, if the police see anything, they would stop. They drive through all the time. Mr. Anderson?
Well, are all the parks under the jurisdiction of Johnsburg?
No, they're under the township jurisdiction.
Yes. They are
I'm talking about police.
Oh, police-wise, yes. Police-wise, yes.
except for Lake Street and Fox Lake.
Except the Lake Street and Fox Lake parks are not.
That's county.
That's in the county.
Those are unincorporated.
Yes, the county. Hey, Bob, did you rejoin the conference?
You might be having a problem with this phone. Wonder if it came on with the phone.
All right, with that being said, we'll wait for Bob. But I have reduced it as much as I can to continue to maintain it as is. And I would like to restate, the only improvements would be maintenance, not new things. Like you might have to paint something or something.
So then it's maintenance, not improvement at all.
Well, I just wanted to make that clear. If you would like to cut something out of the parks, which I'm hearing, I think we could look at the capital outlay and under projects, which would be what you're talking about, except for necessary ones, which are maintenance. And we could look at that. Why don't we do that on page 12? Are we on page 12, people? I don't know where that is in the PDF. We'll get it for you.
Page 18.
Page 18. Would we like to go down those items, gentlemen?
Well, specifically, what are they referring to?
Under Town Hall, 2021 capital outlay projects. I'm understanding you don't want to improve anything, which is fine with me. So a lot of these things we could take out of here, I guess. Some would have to stay, but all wouldn't. So that's the way to further reduce the budget.
I think we have to update the commercial safety.
We do.
Maybe not.
Under, go ahead.
You're talking about maintaining the bottom town hall front that they explained?
Yeah, that could go for now.
Well, I thought it was going to go because of the, I thought we already said that was out because it would entail far more than that.
No,
They built for a while.
we never went over this, I guess. So it'll go. Is that what you're saying?
No, I thought you actually went to the police to Johnsburg and they said
I did.
yeah, that's whatever it was, it's going to take a lot more money than the court does anyway.
It probably would. You're probably right about that, so. We can get rid of that, okay? Okay, the next item, commercial sink. That has to be done for the health department. Go ahead.
So Anderson is back here now?
Bob, are you back? Bob? I don't know what happened to Bob. Is everybody else still here?
I'm here.
Maybe the clerk can do another roll call.
Okay, clerk will do another roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Adams,
Here.
Trustees Anderson,
Bob, please call back in.
Rakestraw,
Here.
Wojcicki,
I'm here.
Vera,
Here.
Okay,
all present except for Anderson.
and I'm assuming Bob's trying to get back in somehow.
So the only reason that we're down to the town hall, it's not really a park. Capital outlay, right?
Well, that would, you're correct, that would be a maintenance of a building. Or not maintenance, I guess that would be an improvement, and I can see that can go.
People are start getting crazy.
Okay?
Safety, please.
The next item there, that needs to be done according to the health department.
When's that work supposed to be completed?
We haven't done anything because you haven't approved the budget at this time.
The caller
Oh, thank you, Bob, you're back.
has joined the conference.
Bob?
Did the health department give you a deadline?
Tell Vera to get that recognized.
Bob, we're on page 12 under capital project outlays, things that some could go, some can't go. We're talking about that. Did they give me an absolute deadline? No, they requested it be done.
Requested it why? Are we violating
You're supposed to have 3 compartment sink, we only have a 2 compartment sink.
Well, that's if it's continued to be rented out, right?
No, it's set up as a catering kitchen.
It's set up as a catering kitchen, it would have to be, yeah.
Keep going.
All right. Let's go down further, rec center. Tables. We would,
That's a senior thing.
that's for the seniors down there. The tables get old, we try to replace them occasionally.
And then what happens to the old tables? They're still usable.
No, they're usually junk.
They're usable.
If they're usable, we wouldn't be buying new ones. It's you know, they get to the point where they're not standing up anymore very well or something to that effect. All right. Moving on to the next page. Breakfast bar cabinets. I don't think we have to have those. Is that okay with everybody?
Fine.
Okay. New bathroom countertops. That could go for now. If that's okay with everybody? All right. Whispering Hills Community Club building. We have chairs in there that are getting beyond their useful life. And we cut it out last year, so we definitely need that to do that. And then the parking lot needs to be done to preserve it for more years. That's that reclamite that makes the pavement. It was done a while ago, but it needs to have reclamite on it to preserve it for another 20 years, or 8 to 10 more years. Then it's well worth the cost. All right, moving down. I have to do some patch of pavement around the Parks Garage. That's an estimate there. Ball field. Not necessarily, no. We could ask them if they would have time to do it, I don't know. But still, you got the cost of the patch.
Well, that's another reason why they shouldn't be doing all these other townships.
Well, that's another story, Steve. It's not what we're talking about right now.
So that doesn't come on, this doesn't come on to it. The job that has to go out to bid, correct?
Correct. Our park staff would do as much of it as they could. Ball field repair. You know, we had drainage problems. Now
The caller that
we're just
has left the conference.
we're just maintaining there to bring things back to where they need to be.
Well, that's very nice, but there should be an explanation of what the repairs are.
It's the fencing that had to come down for some put drainage in, to repair the fencing, and seeding and et cetera, level off the property again so it's usable.
Are you talking about the foul ball fencing? Or what?
It's the fencing along the outside of the ball field, on one of the fields. Part of it had to come down to do the drainage issues, and now we gotta put it back up. And then there's, you know, a lot of dirt was moved, it has to all be leveled off and seeded, etc.
So who's doing that?
The parks are doing most of it. The fence, we may need someone outside to come fix that.
Well, is it to fix it or just to replace it since it was taken out or what?
They're gonna have to,
Are we finding it back?
no, I don't believe so. I think we're just replacing some posts, etc. It's only a partial section. All right.
How did you come up with this? How did you come up with this estimate?
It was come up with, the operations manager came up with this. We could ask him how he came up with this. It may be less than that, Steve. But we're just putting that amount in, that's all. Okay, moving down. Patch seal coat. That should be done for the park ground. That's the parking lot. Nothing's been done to it for years.
Which part are we talking about for that?
The main one here. That big parking lot down there.
So again, why is our own road district isn't going to be doing that or what?
No, they would not be doing that. That would go to someone outside. Okay, next, 5 picnic table replacements. I think we could get away without those.
Well, is it going outside because it could be done cheaper by someone outside or what?
Well, the road district doesn't do seal coating to my knowledge.
Oh, they don't?
I don't,
No, they don't.
I don't think they do.
So they're doing road patching for other municipalities and townships, but
Hey,
they also break it for other townships and municipalities, but they can't do it for the township parking lot.
well, they probably could do the patch, maybe. Striping's a little different. They're doing road striping. This is parking, you know, the parking stall striping. They don't necessarily,
Is that complicated?
Don't make it.
Can you please find out from Mr. Condon if he could do it and how much?
I can do that. Okay, the 5 picnic table replacement. I could see where we could forego that. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Going down further, this equipment, we can eliminate that. We don't have to have that. That cyclone debris blower.
So they go.
Okay. And that's it, gentlemen. So we've gone down that list. I've taken out everything that I believe we can take out.
The caller has joined the conference.
Who just joined the conference?
Who just joined the conference?
I did.
Debbie did. Okay. So we've been over every item on this park budgets now. What's left is necessary to maintain and do what has to be done there. I'm assuming you want to move on to emergency assistant? Yes? Is it Bob?
Okay?
Was that you, Bob? Want to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to talk, with Mr. Militello.
Mr. Miltello?
Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. So, if I remember right of what we talked about before about getting rid of our properties, that would have to go through either a special town meeting or at the annual meeting. Am I correct about that?
Correct, unless there was other options relative to, I believe, the general answer is yes. And I think there was some discussion of looking at what, if any, other transfer to other units of government was optional. But yes, to get rid of it to the general public, yes, that would be the problem.
Yeah, it would have to be an annual town meeting with the voters' approval.
Okay. Or a special meeting.
With the voters' approval.
That was, yeah, I think that could be done. Because when I went through some of those records of being acquired, it was done both at special meetings and at the annual.
The caller has joined the conference.
Yeah, it would have to be a special annual.
Yeah,
Mr. Bear, please stop interrupting.
Will you shut up?
Okay, please refrain. Anybody that's coming on, please identify yourself.
Trustee,
Supervisor.
Supervisor, tonight.
Yes.
The township code relative to special town election meeting, the authority and things you can do during a special are also, are the same ones that are allowed in the annual. So if you can do it during an annual town meeting, there's a provision within the statute, the township code, that says that you can do it also within a special town meeting. So, Trustee Anderson, you're correct, you can do it at an annual or a special town meeting.
Town meeting means,
The other options would not involve as far as the power of the township board to move forward to do that, correct? We can only approve what came from the annual elections at the annual meeting and the special meeting?
correct.
That came out to that?
Correct. That would be of the electors to do that.
Okay, thank you.
So gentlemen, I've cut the parks as much as I can cut it. And that's just maintenance at this point in time, is per your request.
Sometimes, Supervisor Adams, I think that, I'm not going to put time at this time to put it on the agenda, but I think that we should have that sometime in the future as an item on the agenda for at least discussion about how we might want to move forward with that.
Okay,
But I don't want to pick a date right now.
okay, well, let's let that alone for now. Okay,
But I'm going to be bringing that up in the future.
okay, that's fine. I think Mr. Motel's answered the question, though. It can only be done by the electors at an annual town meeting or a special annual town meeting.
Very clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Or anything else, gentlemen?
I think it could also be done in a referendum to decide if it's electorate.
I don't know about that. Mr. Motel?
That will come up in discussion, Steve, we can bring that up once we get on the agenda to discuss it.
Okay. The only other question I think we had was general assistance,
The
Bob.
caller
Bob Anderson?
has left the conference.
Bob, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, that must have been from before.
I didn't wait.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I know where that came from.
I believe the only other,
It came from the substandard system is what it came from.
we're trying to improve that, Steve. Okay,
Ignore them.
let's move on here. Emergency assistance is what you wanted to look at, I believe.
I'm not gonna vote for it.
Okay?
My vote is to be eliminated.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, you're to the page.
I don't know, it's the last page of the budget.
Page 20, page 20 of the PDF.
Consensus from the rest of the board.
Can I have a consensus from the rest of the board on that? Now, you know, with this COVID-19, people are very much in need.
I would hate to see that.
I hate to see it eliminated at this point in time, just because of the need that's out there. And people have paid taxes, and so therefore, this gives,
Money we're giving back.
this is money we're giving back to them, to help them during this COVID-19.
It's only once
And they,
He's not recognized.
they can only have, Mr. Vera, I didn't recognize you, this is only once every 12 months too, so they can't get it continually.
All right, but you made a
That's still
statement
not
that these
recognized.
people are taxpayers.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily taxpayers.
a- They're all taxpayers.
No, they're all township taxpayers. They have to be in the township.
They have to be.
They have to be township citizens, but they do not have to be township taxpayers to get emergency assistance, do they?
Well, I'm assuming they're paying taxes if they're living in an apartment or something, you know,
They're renting.
or they're renting, it's getting paid that way.
That's not, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
There's no requirement that
Landlords
anybody
pay
getting
taxes.
township assistance paid any taxes.
Yes.
So to say that these people are taxpayers, they have to be taxpayers, is ridiculous.
Okay, let's move on.
No, let's clarify that.
No.
There's no requirement for general or emergency assistance that anybody has to be a taxpayer, correct?
They have to reside within the township.
They don't have to,
The township doesn't.
right, that's it. So
Correct.
there's no proof of paying taxes to collect anything,
They're renting.
right?
If they're, but if they're renting, they're paying taxes
They're renting.
indirectly, but okay. We'll have to agree to disagree on that.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Any further discussion on that item there?
The only thing I would say, if I could, Craig,
Yes.
would be that there's never a good time to cut anything. I know this is a bad time, but it's never a good time. And I would just like to clarify that when I came on the board, as long as we had township government, that my focus was on funding only the mandated, three mandated services.
No, Bob,
And I'm staying consistent,
you
and I'm staying consistent with that.
made that clear. I was just trying to point out the COVID-19 thing going on right now, and people are gonna need assistance, but this is,
Just do it for that time period.
could we just do it for that time period and then eliminate it? We may only have another month or two. Just do it for the COVID-19 period.
Just funded for this time period?
Right, just,
What are you talking about?
yes, that's what I'm talking about, just through the COVID-19. And once that's lifted,
How are we going on that? We wouldn't, because it's a never-ending thing.
well, we don't,
I'm afraid that we're into the same thing that happened with the bus
Just
program.
reduce the
Unless you
amount.
can guarantee.
we just reduce the amount there. And once we run out, we run out.
Look, at the next meeting, you can supply us with the figures of how many people are actually applying, okay?
You get those every month. They're in your packet.
Yeah, okay.
And next month, we
So
have to
now
have
we're,
this
now
approved
we'll
before
get
the
it
end
for,
of next
what,
month.
April? At the next meeting, fine.
Sure, okay.
I would posit that, it seems ridiculous to me that the people don't qualify for the general assistance, but we've created a separate class
It was,
of so-called emergency.
okay, thank you, Mr.
That's because you don't understand.
That's because,
Which is almost twice as much as the general assistance.
Because you don't understand. The
Well,
department keeps it.
general assistance, we're gonna leave it where it is now, but that may go up with all this stuff going on, so. In terms of how much money,
That,
yes?
okay, look, according to this, what I'm reading here, on page 20, we budgeted last year for general assistance, 23,309. How much of
It's that. Okay, hold on a second, it says.
What's his question?
Oh, what was actually spent?
It's there.
Where is it?
The account before. For what, general assistance?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, I see it now. So we budgeted 90,000, but only 23,000.
On general
And now he
assistance,
wants
yes.
50,000.
Yes. Tell him I'm already at 9.
Yes, because we're going up in clients right now. Because of everything that's going on.
The caller has left the conference.
And I perceive that to go
And I perceive it might even go higher than that
in the next couple months.
in the next couple months with everything that's happening.
So then you can come back to the board if it's really going to happen.
No, you can just do what you want.
With general assistance, I can,
We have to maintain,
Mr. Militello,
that's one of the
Mr.
statutes.
Milton, we can only have a 2-month budget, right? We don't have to have an annual budget. We can go by 2-month intervals. Is that correct?
no,
No.
no.
The municipal act provides that the township shall adopt a budget appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year within the first fiscal quarter, which would be by June 30th.
Is that a change in the law recently?
We have to keep this out.
That's a section within the Illinois municipal budgeting law. That has not changed, no. That's something that.
Well, then how are these other townships doing 2-month budget? Making the elected officials come back in and go over it by the trustees in these other townships all over the state.
Maybe he doesn't know.
I can't speak for those other townships and how they're doing it. What they probably could or did do is they're probably looking at their financials on a monthly or semi-monthly basis.
Which is what we do.
See what they're spending and what they're not spending.
And that's what we currently do.
We do that on a monthly.
We do it on a monthly basis. All right, so back to this.
What do you think?
What do you guys want to do with emergency assistance, I guess? I'm listening. Stan, you're recognized.
I think the timing stinks here. Why don't we leave the emergency assistance alone now and look at it later after this disaster is over? I think we have it.
I would tend to agree with that. Leave it for now, and then
We'll talk about it later. I mean, it doesn't have to be done right now.
We can look at it in
And why don't we set up a coronavirus special assistance, okay?
We can rename it COVID-19.
Isn't this the same thing? Why don't
We can rename it COVID-19.
Why don't we eliminate emergency assistance and make it a coronavirus special assistance?
we could do that.
People like Glenn are a heartless person. You are heartless.
Pretty much.
We could do.
Who said that?
We could do that.
Man would he said that. Oh, okay. And you put that on the record.
Duly noted.
And we put this on the record too. People are being taxed out of their homes.
Okay,
We need to stay.
Mr. Barry,
Stay at
you
camp.
stated that a million times. We don't need to hear it again. So, all right.
I want it in the record. I want it in the record as the basis for getting rid of it.
Okay. You got that, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do there, board? You want to,
We'll rename it COVID-19.
we could rename it COVID-19 only.
Yeah, I would like the supervisor to come up with a coronavirus program. And then he can set the requirements of it.
So you'd be, I'm sorry, so you'd be,
And what do you want it to do?
what do you want it to do, Steve? I don't understand.
Again, the people have to show that they're directly affected by coronavirus.
okay?
Well, they all are if they're laid off or unemployed right now. They would be affected by it because of the,
Please remember your authority.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Milto.
Please remember your authority is granted under the township code, and in this particular case, we're looking at the general assistance and emergency assistance within the public aid code. And so, if you're adding additional requirements, that may be problematic.
Okay.
Relative to the financial assistance program.
Got you.
Because those statutes are specific as to what you can receive it for and how you receive it. And essentially you're creating a new program contrary to that. And the piece that I kind of point to here is that the change in the nature of the amount of assistance provided is being done, and that causes a problem relative to that statute.
Okay, then we can't change it then, okay.
But that's how.
But what the majority,
Because the lawyers can't figure a way.
no, because it's the code, Steve. It's the code, I abide by the code. Okay, Mr. Rotel, are you speaking again?
The specific section within the public aid code that is referred to in the emergency assistance, and respectfully regarding the attorney, I'm citing the statute which says that the unit of government which provides assistance shall not, as a result of the payment such as change the nature and amount of the assistance. So now you're changing the nature and the amount. So
Okay.
that to me, I'm just wording to you. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you that's what the statute.
All right, so that's an issue apparently. So therefore, what did,
You're saying the township cannot give out grants for coronavirus people?
Under the emergency assistance program.
Okay, we're out of that now.
okay, if we're out of the emergency, okay, hold on.
Emergency assistance anymore.
Okay, are we gonna get,
We can't set up
we can't set up,
by law, we can't.
Coronavirus section of the statute, or the section of the statute that allows the township to create grants for whatever reason they want, on whatever the basis that they want. And I don't have that particular statute in front of me at this point.
so gentlemen,
The caller
Is that in there? Is that it?
for the
has
argument,
joined the conference.
Okay, these pseudonyms can't be allowed, okay?
what?
These pseudonyms are fake names of people coming in.
I don't have any control over that, Steve. I don't have any control over that.
Let's have everybody go under oath when they say their name.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we're under emergency assistance, so therefore, what's the pleasure of the board?
But, eliminate.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Anderson?
Eliminate.
Mr. Rakestraw?
No.
Meaning,
Keep it as it is.
Mr. Rakestraw says keep it as it is. I say keep it as it is. Stan, what do you say? Stan? Where'd you go?
Thank you.
Okay, so there's Mr. Beer, you're a no, I take it. So the majority of the board has voted to keep it as is.
No, there never was a motion, okay?
Okay, I'll make a motion to keep emergency assistance as it is, especially because of these times. Seconded by whom? Who was the second? Majewski second, okay. Let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson.
No.
Mr. Rakestraw.
Discuss.
Okay, discussion.
Isn't that what we were just?
We did, I thought we had discussion.
You did it completely out of order, and
You're out of order.
Hey, let's keep everything.
Well, tell him to shut up then.
Whoa,
He's
whoa,
not
whoa.
recognized.
Whoa. Okay, I thought we already had discussion. That's why I was bringing up a motion. Is there more discussion at this point?
Yeah, let's have some more discussion.
Okay, Mr. Ver, we,
I would say make emergency, the continuation of emergency assistance coterminous to the
No.
coronavirus emergency as put out by the governor in his executive order.
okay, that's your recommendation. Any other discussion?
I would have to agree with that.
Well, I can't agree with that. I mean, I don't know how we do that.
Got a motion?
No, we have a motion on the floor already.
The caller, Dan Allard, has left the conference.
A motion to amend the current motion, put a time limit on that it's coterminous with coronavirus as set forth by the executive order of the governor. Second.
I don't think we could do that. Can we, Mr. Meltello?
Mike said he wants to change his vote.
Hold on, I want to know what Mr. Meltello has to say. Jim, are you there?
The issue is, yeah, I'm here. The issue is whether or not the board wishes to continue with an emergency system, and funding of the emergency system. The issue, of whether or not you budget for it or not budget it is a different issue than whether or not you run a program, during, and under the administration of the supervisor. So the question before the board is, the issue before this board right now is the budget and the budgeting process. So I would leave your discussions relative to whether to eliminate, reduce, or keep the emergency assistance within the budget.
Like I said, we leave the government. They cannot remove any services right now.
I think that governor's order says you can't remove any services. Is that correct? Or no? Right now?
Followed by the pound sign.
That's correct.
That is correct, Mr.
It's
Meltello?
only for people that are already on it, okay?
I,
It's only for
That's
people
not
that
true.
already received it, and I don't believe that's even correct.
After the tone.
We're talking about the future, all right?
Has nothing to do with it. Right now,
Dan
those
Allard.
aren't.
You guys are in a budgeting workshop, you're discussing the budget appropriation ones, you're discussing
The caller
Dan Howard.
has joined the conference.
The
okay,
issue is, motion before this board is whether to approve or not approve emergency assistance in full, or eliminate or reduce.
how about we reduce for this year?
We're going to reduce it. We're going to
Okay.
reduce it.
Okay, let's reduce it, that's fine. Let's put 50,000 in there. That should cover it, I hope. And if not? Right, okay. Any just, let's have a motion. I have a motion to reduce the amount to 50,000 for emergency assistance. Do I have a second? Okay, discussion. None being heard, let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson? Mr. Anderson? Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Veer? Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll reduce it to 50,000.
Did Anderson come back on?
Anderson, are you still there somewhere? And,
Dan, make sure you have in there that I voted not to reduce.
Oh, I think everybody would know that already.
You're the one that made that,
okay, so,
you're the one that made the proposal to reduce it. Why would you vote no?
Zay is an idiot.
The clerk knows how to do it.
let's, okay, done and settled, gentlemen. We've been through the entire budget now. We reduced all kinds of stuff, lots of stuff. I'm sorry. What? What?
If we're reducing the expense, the actual emergency assistance, there should be a concomitant reduction of other expenses.
Like what, Steve? That's just emergency assistance, period. everything else is gonna stay the same. It's not gonna change. Okay, let's move on. We've been through this entire budget, gentlemen, we've been through the entire budget. We've been through it.
You're not recognized.
You're not recognized, Mr. Mayor. Okay. We've been through the entire budget. We've cut.
Mr. Adams, may I be recognized?
Yes, you may.
You were talking, why are you letting me cut you off?
Can you instruct the clerk for shouting things out? He's not the chairman of the meeting.
Yes, Mr. Clerk, you need to keep quiet,
That's
please.
great. Would you request Vera to be
Okay,
recognized every time he
I will. I
interrupts?
will request him to be recognized every time. Okay, now I have the floor. We've been through the entire budget. We've done everything that's possible at this point in time. We'll reduce the payroll by 3.5%, okay? I think that's a big accomplishment. So with that, is there anything else? Okay, nothing else being heard. I move that we close this. Oh, I'm sorry, we need public comment.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement.
Name, please.
Rhonda Farr,
Okay.
okay. One, I don't understand why we raised the bus service so much higher, more than double the amount. You had grants, you're the ones who canceled the grant. Mike Restaurant had a wonderful idea about advertising to see if we could get more, money in. You never took up that. You never took up any idea. I find it very unconstitutional. It's just beyond stop that you would raise the rate that's going on the budget more than double. It's a hospital senior, the hospital handicap. Those people you're trying, should be trying to help. But don't tell me it's duplicate service. Many people told you it's 2 hours of service, that is not. That's one. Also coming of RCA, you did keep it. Did keep it, but you did lower it. At this time, it's totally ridiculous. And Mr. Ball, there's no reason for you to be committed to yourself a board member at all times. So, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
And you owe them an apology for your tone of voice.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I would.
A name?
Dan Elwood.
Go ahead.
I just want to say a few things, Mr. Beer. You've been accused of being heartless. I don't know how you could possibly deny that. When you raised the
The caller
bus,
has left the conference.
senior bus program at $5 a ride, these people don't have, some of them go to dialysis 3 times a week. That would make $30 a week right there. Plus, they wouldn't need to go to grocery stores and stuff. You don't understand. You don't care. Okay, it's obvious. Thousands of people have voted against you. Yeah, people are getting taxed out of their home, but it's not because of the township and it's not because of the senior bus program. It's because of the schools. Get it straight. You constantly interrupt. You never, ever ask for, to be recognized. Yet you want to yell at everybody that butts in and doesn't say what you want to hear. You know, get a life.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Mr. Beer. State your name, please, for the record.
Stephen Robert Beer.
Okay.
Can I begin?
You may begin.
I'm looking out for the people that are being taxed
We're in the top 100. Mchenry County is in the top 100 of all counties in the United States for the highest property tax. Okay? Now, if people need to go to dialysis, the dialysis places will arrange for the transportation. Or they can take the McBride program. It will definitely be cheaper. All right? I'm tired of this duplicate bus service. The township is already paying for the McBride program. In fact, if Mr. Militello would have looked at what's in our packet, the McBride program counts seniors at 60 years of age.
The caller has left the conference.
For some reason, the township has a 55-year. Okay? So,
The caller
let him hear? Let him.
has left the conference.
So I believe we were given false information before when I asked for why we are at 55. And now it turns out that the McBride program is at 60. And I would ask the board members to think about putting our program in parity with the McBride program, which is under all the federal rules.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beer.
I fight for the ordinary person, okay?
Yeah,
Not
right.
the 0.002% of the population.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr.
Mr.
Beer.
Adams?
Yes. Mr. Militello?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I still have my 3 minutes. if I may.
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
This is not a board that just lets everything go and passports that. It's because they're all jockeys to be a supervisor themselves. Okay. This is a board that actually looks at things. Look how much we just cut this morning of needless expense. Right? Now, Mr. Adams says that he cut one person off. I think, why suddenly did he do that? Why wasn't this done last year?
Because we were living,
The caller has joined the
our
conference.
budget constraints have changed.
So, we're faced with a situation, of, I think we can cut a lot further
I
than
don't,
what's been proposed for both the road district and the township.
I've told you,
The caller has joined the conference.
And in this crisis situation of an economic meltdown for the state, I think we should be a little proactive in not keeping the burden on the taxpayers even more in a situation where so many people are unemployed. Okay? So if anything, the tax cutting is more critical now. Yeah, well, I was interrupted quite a bit by Vladimir Lenin and these other communists.
hold on,
Communists.
hold on.
You call them communists, you 3 dictators?
Stop. Order, okay.
I'm through, I'm leaving.
No, let's continue, Mr. Beer. You got about a half a minute left.
Another abdication,
Stop interrupting,
another
Order.
abdication of his responsibilities. I don't think the
Why
clerk
is
can do
everybody
that.
a communist that doesn't agree with
You're not recognized.
When they use names like
You're not recognized.
I think it's pretty apparent, ladies.
I'm not a communist anymore, I'm dead.
something I don't want, and when he's brought
Okay, stop.
Are you going to try and restore order?
I am. Please, everybody, stop.
are you gonna,
Rhonda, stop.
you don't want to ice
Stop.
knock him right upside the head?
Stop. Everybody, stop. All right.
You threatening me, Rhonda?
I didn't threaten you physically, I told you stop calling people names.
Okay, stop.
I take action.
Let's.
Calling a communist.
Rhonda, you are no longer recognized. Mr. Veer, finish your statement.
Be careful, he'll talk to you to death.
Sorry, Stan, for doing our job. The 3 minutes are up.
There is quite a lot of interruptions now.
I say he has about 30 seconds left.
If Stan Wadusky really cared about the people that elected him, he would care. He would, okay, look, obviously this thing can't be controlled.
Hold on, I'm controlling it. Whoever's talking, stop talking. Okay, Mr. Beer, you got, go.
Yes, the caller has left the conference.
Yeah, there is a crisis, but guess what? That's why we have to cut the budget even more, because of the crisis. Not move it off. Okay?
Steve,
it's already an unconscionable level.
we significantly cut the budget already. Significantly.
Yeah, to your mind, okay?
There's nothing left to cut, Steve, in my mind. Nothing. All right, anyways, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, right. That's just what I'm talking about, the lack of control.
The caller has joined the conference.
There has to be a new format.
We're working
This
on,
is not working, Supervisor Adams.
we are working on that. Okay,
Go on.
are we done? Okay,
Trustee Adams, I'd like to be heard.
yes, who's this? Who is this?
This is Jim Militello, attorney for the township. This is Jim Militello, attorney for the township. This is the first time I've actually spoken to a public comment section. My only response is that Trustee Veer's comment regarding the township attorney and where the heck did he get the age group for the senior ride services, where the McBride program is 60 years of age. For the point of record, I'm not familiar with how McBride got their 60-year age group or by the statute. I would have to look at to the township and what statutes were relative to the age group for the township. The statutory authority in which the township identified the program was under 60 ILCS 1/220-15, which set out the program. The specific section which I cited relative to the age of 55 that has been and was continued to the township, which is 2020-10 of the same section, which regards to 55 years of age or older. So forth.
Okay, thank you. With that being said,
That raises a legal problem. That raises quite a legal problem then, because we're funding the McBride program, which apparently is discriminatory, according to what you just said. Their standard is. I did not say. I did. If I may, I'm not saying if their program is discriminatory or not discriminatory. I'm just saying to you the section within the township code relative to the age requirement for townships who are citizens within the jurisdiction who are 55 years of age or older. That is the section which was provided upon. Yeah, but you looked at the intergovernmental agreement that's included in our package today. Didn't you? Absolutely not, Steve. I did not. I'm looking at this section relative to the township program that the township has. As to the senior McBride program and their process and how they adopted it, I can't speak to that. As of yet, I can't speak to the fact that this township board has approved it. I can certainly look at it and look to see whether or not their age requirement is discriminatory. I think we're going to have to look at that. I was under the impression you were getting all the documents we were getting. Apparently that isn't the case. There's an intergovernmental agreement in today's package. See, I have today's package. What you're asking me is to whether or not I looked at that intergovernmental agreement to determine whether or not it's discriminatory. I have not looked at that intergovernmental agreement today as to whether or not the age of 60 years old is discriminatory as to the township program at the age of 55.
okay. Is there anything else, gentlemen, at this time? Let's have a motion to adjourn. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Mr. Anderson?
Second.
Okay. Well, you're saying yes, yes? Or second, okay.
I'm saying yes.
Okay.
I second.
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Are we,
We're not voting on any budget now. We're just voting on the adjournment, is that correct?
That is correct, but I would like to
We
know,
have to discuss it.
I'd like
Are
to,
there any further meetings before we adjourn? Are there any further meetings by the budget?
well,
By the budget?
okay, let's go back. I would like to know, I guess. Stop, whoever that is. I'd like to know, we've gone through this entire budget, okay? We've cut where we can cut. I think,
Look, I just asked you, are there any future meetings? That's it. Before we adjourn, I want to know, are there any future meetings on the budget?
do we need to have any future meetings? We've been through the whole thing. Yes, Jim?
Trustee Adams,
Yeah.
Supervisor Adams, the next step is that the board is prepared, and you have this budget as you discussed today. The next step would be to then compile it with the changes, file it with the township clerk. The township clerk then is required to then set up public date and notice and publish the ordinance, or the announcement, and then at that next meeting, so this particular board will have to adopt part, all, or any part thereof at that next public meeting.
Okay? That made clear?
I understand it.
Okay. Bob, have you,
So from a time standpoint, you were looking at least 30 days from whatever the publication date is. So you're probably looking end of May, 1st of June.
and we have to have it done.
That's where if the board has any other corrections on what should be spent, we would speak out, correct?
That's correct. That's correct, Trustee Anderson.
But at this time, as long as we're talking, we've been through the whole thing. I don't know what else we could do, gentlemen. We've done a good job here. Okay? We've had multiple discussions. We've cut personnel, we've cut expenses. You're doing your job. So therefore, I would suggest that we move to adopt, or to make a, whatever, a notice in the paper that we're going to have a hearing on it. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel about that?
Apparently the clerk just does whatever he wants. Why do we have to?
Okay, hold on a second. The clerk does not do whatever he wants. Now, Mr. Anderson, how do you feel about that?
Yes.
Okay,
I
Mr.
think
Rick,
that we should move forward and put in the paper as long as we, and I understand, Mr. Delatella, if we want to make any changes, if we change our minds, or if something comes up, that we have the opportunity at the hearing to accept that budget and reduce it. So I say it should be published. So I say it should be published.
okay, Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Adams yet? Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Continuation of the discussion, please.
Okay, continuation of discussion.
We're voting on him to publish something we haven't even seen. This is
No,
something
it's,
from today.
oh, well, I will give you a revised copy. How's that?
Yeah, okay, so we can take this up in the regular meeting.
Supervisor Adams?
Yes.
Supervisor Adams, if you may, what you could do is whatever final copy that has now come out of this meeting with relative to changes, the statute requires that you file it with the township clerk. At the point of filing with the clerk, just forward a copy to the township board and myself, so we have a copy.
Okay, how's that, gentlemen?
Excellent.
Okay, excellent. All right. Discussion over with? Motion to adjourn. I make such motion. Is there a second?
Did you go around the whole board to see if they wanted to move forward?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. How far did I get?
Please.
I got to me, I believe, didn't I?
You got me.
Got Bob, I got Rakestraw.
You got the Bob Anderson, Mike Rakestraw.
Okay, you're both yeses. I was a yes. Mr. Veer
No.
and Mr. Wojcicki.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
And I say no because there's gonna be other cuts.
I understand, Mr. I don't believe we can cut anymore.
I know you don't feel that way, but you did cut more this year from last year, so.
I did,
Again, we can't cut more.
I am the supervisor. I know what needs to be maintained here, okay? You're not here on a daily basis. I know what staff I have to have. Okay. So that motion is passed. So we'll put it together. The clerk will publish, and we'll go from there. All right, that was what we just voted on. Motion to adjourn. Okay, Mr. Rakestraw, second. Who is the second?
The caller has left the conference.
Anyway, all those, I need who was the second on that?
I second it.
Is that Mr. Rakestraw?
Rakestraw.
Okay. Let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson.
Now, are you acting as the clerk now? Supervisor, are you acting as the clerk?
No, the clerk is still acting as the clerk. All right. Let's,
I thought you left.
he's in the building. He's listening. So, okay. Let's continue.
Well, he's listening. Good. Then I want him to say something on the record.
I thought he was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's not. So, who is taking these? What do you want? Who's acting?
There he is. There's the clerk. He's taking the notes, right, Mr. Okay, thank you. All right. Answered, done. Motion to adjourn. Any other discussion? No. We have a first and a second. Let's have a vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
And Mr. Rajewski? All right, motion carries. We are adjourned. We will go forth with making these revisions, etc., sending them to you, and publishing. Okay? Thank you, gentlemen.
11 o'clock.
Time is 11 o'clock. We
The
adjourn.
caller
Okay.
has left the conference.
Meeting adjourned.
The caller
John McCredo.
He's got to be, without a doubt, the most biggest hypocrite.